What's going on, guys? Smog here, and today I'm bringing you the next DPS class in the lineup for Shadowlands, and that is the Frost Mage. Frost Mage is one that I've always had a lot of fun with. It's always been able to provide great utility while pumping out massive DPS numbers. As long as you're not getting hit, this class is a lot of fun to play. As a reminder, guys, I do stream on Twitch every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. Links are going to be down in the description below. Also, guys, if you do enjoy this video and you do want to see more classes done, as well as I will periodically update these videos as more information comes available, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button, click that subscribe button, and turn those notifications on so you know when the next video does go live. All right, guys, with that, let's get into it. The Frost Mage, giving you everything you need to know so you can get in there and do the most amount of DPS in Shadowlands. All right, so strengths for the Frost Mage, as always, they've always been very good at kiting and slowing down mobs as you fight them. They do have really good single target and cleave abilities. They have good defensive utilities with ice flows and shimmer, allowing them to move around. And even though they do need to stand still while casting, a lot of this stuff makes them move very quickly. They have pretty steady, decent output. So some of the weaknesses for the Frost Mage is they don't really have any way to deal with spread damage, which can be an issue, especially if you're trying to CC mobs. They have a very set talents that you need to do for cleave and single target, which we'll get into later, but there's really no real flexibility. There's pretty much a set lineup, and that is about it in order to utilize them. They don't have the greatest burst damage, and they're very reliant on procs. All right, so as far as the recent changes for Shadowlands, Frost Mage only had one real change, but it is a pretty big change. The Winter's Chill used to be a pretty small window, but now they have doubled that. So now it generates 2 charges of Winter Chill, which are consumed upon the spell impact. And basically it doubles the amount of ice lances that you can cast off, essentially making the Frost Mage a very ice lance centric playstyle. All right, so the new spells is Blizzard. You get a rank 3, which damage is increased by 15%. Cold Snap is upgraded to rank 2. That is going to reduce the cooldown by 30 seconds. At level 56, you're going to get an upgrade to Icy Veins, and that's going to increase it by 3 seconds. And then at level 58, you're going to get Alter Time, which alters the fabric of time, returning you to your current place and time, as well as health when cast a second time or 10 seconds after. So, all right, so your stat priority for the Frost Mage is going to be number 1, as always, intellect. So basically any type of item level upgrade is typically going to be an upgrade. Number 2 is going to be critical strike, but you only want that around that 33% mark. After that, you're going to go after haste and then versatility. And then finally, mastery, because that does increase the amount of damage by your icicles. All right, so as far as your enchants go, you are going to want to use the enchant ring, the tenet of critical strike. If you're at that cap though, do the tenet of haste. For your weapon, you want the sinful revelation. Your chest is going to be internal insight, which is going to give you 20 intellect onto your chest. And then your bracers is going to be eternal intellect. The potion of deathly fixation is your go-to potion for Frost Mage. All right, so let's go ahead and get into your talent build. So the talent build is very simple. It's going to be the same for single target and AoE. The only difference is if you have another mage in the group, I'll let you know that's going to be level 30. That'll be the only one you change. Other than that, if there is no other mage in it, this is what you're going to go with. Okay, so level 15, you're going to go with Lonely Winter. It makes it to where you can no longer spawn your water elemental, but Ice Lance, Flurry, and Frostbolt all deal 25% more damage. Okay, so level 25 is kind of a preference thing. Shimmer obviously replaces Blink and moves you 20 yards forward as long as nothing is in the way. But if you're in a raid encounter or something where you need to be moving and while casting at the same time, you can choose Ice Flows and basically makes any cast that you do that's under 10 seconds allowed to be cast while moving. All right, so level 30 is the one that I was talking about. If you have another Frost Mage in the group, you're going to want to go with Focused Magic. And what that is going to allow you to do is you and the other mage are going to cast this on one another, and it's going to increase your chance to critically hit for 30 minutes by 5%. When you do critically hit, your intellect has a chance to critically hit spells increased another 5% for 10 seconds. Now, if you do not have another mage in your group, or if you're doing solo content, Rune of Power is the way to go. It basically places a rune on the ground. You only have to be within about 8 yards of that rune. You do not have to be directly on it, which is a common misconception. And for 12 seconds, it is going to increase your spell damage by 40%. Okay, so level 35 is going to be Chain Reaction. And basically what this does, this allows your Ice Lances against frozen targets to increase the damage of Ice Lance by 3%. Stacking up to 5 times. So level 40, you really can take, this is completely preference. There really is no right or wrong answer here. Ring of Frost is typically one that I normally use, just because if anything gets in, it allows me to slow everything coming near me. But again, whatever you want to use, completely up to you. All right, so level 45 is Splitting Ice. Your Ice Lance and Icicles deal 5% increased damage and hit a second target for 65 of the total damage. Heaven Bolt and Glacial Spike also hit a nearby target for 80% of their damage. Level 50 no-brainer is obviously Thermal Void. It increases Icy Vein's duration for 10 seconds, and each of your Ice Lance against a frozen target will also extend it by an additional second. All right, so your rotation, what you're going to want to do, cast Icy Veins on cooldown. If Icy Veins has faded, then you'll want to cast Rune of Power onto the ground. Cast that Ice Lance if you have any of the Fingers of Frost, or whenever there is Winter's Chill on your target. Cast Flurry if you have Brain Freeze and you just got done casting Frostbolt. Cast Frozen Orb on cooldown. Blizzard if there is 2 or more targets. And then whatever your filler is, just spam Frostbolt. Now, obviously, there's a little bit different priority if you are using for multi-targets. So what you want to do, Icy Veins is always on cooldown. If Icy Veins is faded, then Rune of Power on the ground. Cast that Frozen Orb, cast Blizzard, cast Flurry. Ice Lance, if you're above 10% mana, you can do Arcane Explosion, and then just spam Frostbolt. All right, so your legendaries, your number 1 is going to be Slick Ice, and then your best multi-target legendary is going to be Glacial Fragments. All right, so as far as covenants go, anything that's Frost Spec and it's single target, you're going to go with Venthyr. Your Soulbind is going to be Nagia the Mistblade. And for AoE, it's going to be Night Fae. And it'll be Korain. Your best conduit is going to be Icy Propulsion. Basically, while Icy Veins is active, critical hits reduce the cooldown. All right, so as far as playing Torghast, obviously you can play Torghast solo, or you can do it in a group. And there are a couple of tweaks that you may want to consider when going into this one. The first decision you're going to have to make is level 15. Level 15, Lonely Winter is still my choice. It provides a lot of DPS. However, if there is some situations where you're needing to CC, you may want to pick up Bone Chilling, because then it still allows you to use your Water Elemental's Freeze ability, and that is going to give you that CC that you may need. Level 25 obviously is still a utility one. It's either Shimmer or Ice Flows. Both are very, very good. The reason why I would choose Shimmer is Shimmer being off of the global cooldown allows you to spam it. And if you're using some Anima Powers, it may not interfere with it, and that is a big bonus. So level 30 is an interesting choice here. Obviously, the Rune is very, very good. However, it does limit your mobility. Incanter's Flow is not terrible, as it does allow you to move around. So if you're trying to burn through corridors quickly and move quickly, Incanter's Flow is a viable option. And then, of course, Focus Magic is amazing because it does give you the movement of Incanter's Flow if your group can keep it up on you. And it does an amazing amount of DPS. Level 35, Chain Reaction is still my go-to choice here. It just gives you so many extra Ice Lances, and it's just really, really good. Frozen Touch, though, is viable in this because it does give you the extra proc and could really help you out with the sustained damage in later layers. For level 40, Ice Ward, if you do have Grizzly Icicle, basically gives you an extra 10 seconds of the mob not moving, which can be extremely beneficial. Also, if you do end up seeing that Anima Power, then that could also be, Ice Ward can also be very, very good. Frigid Winds just basically lets you kite the mobs even better than you already do. But I think Ice Ward is really, really strong here. All right, so level 45, the Cleave feature on Splitting Ice is just too good to pass up. All right, then, and level 50, so while the other previous levels, except for level 45 for the most part, you can choose another talent and it could work being situational. Thermal Void is really still the only viable choice here in this level. It is just way too good to pass up. So make sure that you do click on Thermal Void. All right, so Anima Powers, as I referenced earlier, Grizzly Icicle is probably one of the best Anima Powers, even though they're very difficult to rank. The fact that it gives you an extra 10 seconds on Shattered for everything caught in your Frost Nova basically allows you to lock down things. And remember that whenever, regardless of what your group may do DPS wise, it will never break Frost Nova. So this is a very, very powerful tool, especially when trying to move through or CCing mobs. All right, so that's going to do it for the Frost Mage spec. Like I said, it's a pretty straightforward spec. It is a lot of fun to play with a lot of mobility, and they do pretty good DPS. If you guys did enjoy this video, make sure to hit that thumbs up, click that subscribe button, turn those notifications on, and we will see you guys in the next video. Until then, guys, remember that life is a circus. Enjoy that freak show, and I will see you guys next time.